Have you ever thought about what happens when a giant empire falls? Who steps in to pick up the pieces? Today, we're diving into the story of one such power, an empire that rose from the ashes, not just to conquer, but to connect and create. We're talking about the Satavahana Dynasty, a powerhouse that shaped the destiny of southern India for over 300 years.
So let's set the scene. Imagine one of the ancient world's largest empires, the Mauryan Empire, just crumbles. It's gone. Across the entire Indian subcontinent, there's this massive power vacuum. It's a time of chaos, for sure, but also a time of huge opportunity. So the big question is, who's going to step up? Who's going to fill that void right in the strategic heartland of India, the Deccan Plateau?
Well, the answer came from a brand new dynasty, the Satavahanas, and they didn't just grab power for power's sake. No, they forged this vital political and cultural bridge, literally connecting the northern and southern parts of India. They were building a legacy that was completely their own.
All right, let's get into it. The Deccan's first empire. We're talking about a reign that lasted for nearly 3 centuries, all the way from the 1st centuries BCE to the 3rd century CE. These guys, the Satavahanas, who you might also hear called the Andhras, they built the Deccan's first truly great organized empire. They were a real powerhouse.
So how'd they pull it off? How did this dynasty even get started? Well, like so many great stories, it all begins with one person, a founder who saw his moment and knew exactly how to grab that golden opportunity.
And that founder's name was Simuka. Think about it. The Mauryan authority was gone, the whole region was unstable, and Simuka saw this as his big chance. He basically capitalized on all that chaos to carve out a kingdom for himself and lay the groundwork for a whole new dynasty. And what a dynasty it was. After Simuka got things started, you had ambitious rulers like Satakarni I, who just kept expanding their territory. But the empire really hit its peak under the legendary king Gautamiputra Satakarni. His son, Vashishthiputra Pulamavi, then came into the crucial work of consolidating all those massive gains.
Let's zero in on that peak for a minute, because every great empire has that one great story, right? And for the Satavahanas, that story is all about their most powerful and famous ruler, Gautamiputra Satakarni.
This guy was an absolute force of nature. He crushed his main rivals, the Western Kshatrapas, and totally restored Satavahana glory all across the Deccan. He even took on titles like Protector of Brahmins, which was a big deal. It signaled his role as a defender of the social order.
Now here's what's so cool. How do we even know all this? Well, his incredible achievements weren't recorded by him, but by his mother, Gautami Balashri. This little detail is amazing for 2 reasons. First, it preserves his history, but second, it tells us so much about the high status of royal women in their society. It even hints that they might have had a matrilineal influence. I mean, these kings often took their mother's name.
Okay, but military victories alone don't keep an empire going for 300 years. So what was their secret? What was the economic engine that was driving all this success? In a word, trade. We're talking trade on a local and a global scale.
So yeah, farming was the foundation, about 40% of their economy. But what really supercharged everything was commerce. Inland trade was a huge piece of the pie, but the real game changer, the thing that funded all their ambitions, was their incredibly profitable trade relationship with the Roman Empire. Yeah, all the way over in Europe.
And this isn't just a guess. We have hard proof of this global connection. Archaeologists have literally dug up thousands of Roman gold coins all over former Satavahana lands. That's tangible evidence, a testament to this thriving international trade network that brought just immense wealth pouring into the Deccan.
And what happens when you have that much wealth and stability? Well, you get a flourishing of culture. This is where we get to see the real soul of the Satavahana Empire, their art, their faith, and their society.
And this is a really crucial point, their amazing policy of religious tolerance. So the rulers themselves, they followed Brahmanism. They performed these huge rituals, like the Ashwamedha horse sacrifice, to show their power. But, and this is key, at the exact same time, they were massive patrons of Buddhism. They were giving out huge grants to build stupas and monasteries. It's an incredible balancing act.
And all that support, all that patronage, led to some of ancient India's most breathtaking architectural wonders. We're talking about the incredible art of the Amaravati Stupa and the stunning rock-cut caves at Nasik and Karle. These are all lasting monuments from their time, a true showcase of their legacy.
Now, to manage all this, the trade, the territory, the massive building projects,
You need a solid system. And they had one. Their administration was pretty clear and organized. At the top, you had the Raja, the king, as the supreme authority. The kingdom was then divided into provinces called aharas. And on the ground, local officials known as amatiyas handled the day-to-day affairs. This structure kept things stable and made sure the money kept flowing.
But, as we all know, no empire lasts forever. After centuries of being on top, the Satavahana power started to fade. So, what happened? What went wrong?
Well, it was really a combination of the usual suspects, wasn't it? The line of strong, charismatic leaders just ended. They were replaced by weaker successors, and that, of course, led to internal fights and power struggles that just tore the empire apart from the inside. A weakened empire then becomes an easy target, and rival powers started chipping away at their territory until the whole thing finally collapsed.
So, when all is said and done, what's the big takeaway here? Despite their eventual fall, the Satavahanas were so much more than just another group of conquerors. Their real, lasting legacy is that role as a crucial bridge. They brought together cultural influences from North and South India. They pushed for trade that connected India to the rest of the world, and they created an environment of religious harmony.
And that kind of leaves us with one last thought to chew on. When you really think about their success, an empire built on international trade and a policy of religious tolerance, you have to wonder, right? How did the choices made by an empire 2,000 years ago still echo in the challenges and the opportunities that we face in our own interconnected world today?